Welcome back to DS Trucks. If you follow the channel, then you know that recently we've had problems with our 10-speed transmission on this 2020 F450 with only 7,000 miles. And it does kind of suck to have a little bit of an issue, but nonetheless, we are having issues. But today, we are going to attempt to fix the truck. So, a little bit of a backstory, what actually went wrong with the F450's transmission, what actually happened with the 10-speed. Well, we were out plowing snow, and we noticed that the truck started shifting really hard into drive and reverse, and it wasn't acting right. A wrench popped up on the dashboard. I then reached out to my buddy, Power Stroke Tech Talk with A-Rod.
Hi, folks.
He then scanned the truck, and we noticed that there was a code. The code, it did say that there was some slippage in ninth gear, and it did go into some kind of a limp mode, which was causing it to shift hard. Now, since turning off the truck for about 24 hours, then restarting the truck, the wrench went away, but I did notice that from time to time it was still continuing to shift hard into drive. So it's really hard to, recreate it shifting hard into drive on camera because it doesn't do it on every shift. But if you have one of these trucks with a new 10-speed and you notice from time to time that when you put the truck into drive, it will kind of shift a little harder, kind of give you a little bump, just a little bit of a boom, a little bit of a bump when you shift. You might need this reprogram. So what we are going to do today is Power Stroke Tech Talk with A-Rod. He's got his computer right here. He's getting all set up.
I'm trying to get the hotspot figured out. I can't get it.
And he is going to hook up our computer. He's going to hook up his computer to our truck. He's going to reprogram because there's actually a TSB out that will hopefully correct the issue. There's a couple different levels to this issue where level 1 is reprogram. Then I think the next level up is a valve body. And then ultimately you're up here and you need a new transmission. So hopefully just a reprogram should correct the issue. And that ideally would be the case, would be the solution. Hopefully we don't need any actual hard parts or components inside of the transmission. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump to the next scene. See you guys at the next scene. All right, so we are inside of the truck, and I was just saying out there, like, there's levels to this. I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, there's a couple different levels. Level 1 is a reprogram, then level 2 is like a valve body, and then level 3 or maybe 4, I don't know, between there would be like a new transmission.
Yeah, I don't know about levels. I mean, this particular code that we're getting is for a ninth gear DTC, and this particular TSB has just this code and wants you to reprogram the PCM. So if you had to replace the valve body, there's another technical service bulletin that talks about that and way more other DTCs that are accompanied with this one that we're doing. But since we only had just this one, we are only going to perform just the reprogram.
So the whole valve body thing would be different conditions.
Correct.
Different from what I'm having, which is simply a wrench and then a ninth gear, either loss of ninth gear or slippage detected in ninth gear. In my case, I believe we just saw slippage in ninth gear as a form of a stored code.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when this happened, I was plowing snow, but when the wrench actually popped on, I was actually traveling between site to site, and I had a max gross vehicle weight on the truck. I had a salter full of salt, and I had a plow on the truck, and we were just driving through snow. And that's actually pretty intense for the transmission. I think, just traveling through relatively deep snow. And it wasn't like I was actually plowing when it happened. It was, like I said, I was just traveling between sites, 4-wheel drive, engine brake on, which you're really not supposed to use engine brake when it's icy, but I do anyway. Our engine brakes aren't real aggressive, but follow the owner's manual and don't use it when it's slick. But I was using engine brake, and the engine brake is probably going to transfer the power from the wheels back through the transmission. So it probably adds a little bit of heat to the transmission. So it adds a little bit of more, I would imagine, a little bit more stress to the transmission, just because power's flowing back through to the engine versus just from the engine to the wheels. So those were the conditions where it really set off a DTC.
This is my first time doing this particular DTC, this reprogram for this concern. So I have some high hopes. I've heard other people in the power stroke community at different dealers performing this same TSB on their customers' vehicles and have had great success. So I think there's not necessarily something wrong with the hard parts like Sean was talking in the beginning. I think in this instance there may be just a different software strategy in the PCM and the TCM that is going to help make this shift quality and operation more smoother. So
yeah, and then on top of that, as far as the wrench coming on, I do notice after a long drive, maybe on the freeway, whatever, and actually get the transmission up to temperature, it will sometimes feel like it missed a gear, or you might feel it shift, or I don't know exactly what it's doing, but you'll feel it shift or something like that. So if you're feeling something similar to what I'm describing, maybe go ahead and check and see. Go into the dealer or whatever, if you know a good technician, hopefully you do, and see, because how long will that code store?
Well, until somebody clears it. It's not going to clear itself.
Right. Well, what's interesting is if you're not pushing your truck, you might not ever get any code, because I was pushing the truck pretty hard. So
True.
It could be one of those things that are a little bit difficult, to figure out.
Every circumstance is going to be different. It's not like you who are watching and you got a 350, this is going to happen. I got my truck over here. I mean, I haven't had any issues yet, or situations like Sean's complained about, but I don't use my truck like he does. So my situation is going to be, entirely different than his. So, I mean, yeah, let's get this thing reprogrammed.
All right.
What do you think?
Sounds good. All right, so we're going through this reprogram procedure, and the truck's going through all of its menus, and it's pulling up all these fault codes. It's just going through and I guess reprogramming. And my question to you is,
it says negative 76 degrees. That's funny.
Isn't that insane? I guess that's as low as it can go. Well, my question to you is, does this mean all my forescan data will be lost?
No way.
I hope not, because we've got our temperature gauge turned on. We have the C-rings turned up, being brighter, and
two different types of data.
Okay.
That's as-built data that is programmed hard to the modules, but the data the software that we're changing now, I guess it could still be an EEPROM, but that's programmed a different way than this is. That's changing codes and stuff. This is changing like the calibration, emission stuff on these trucks. And this is all done with the Ford scan tool. This is a Ford software calibration. It's those are two totally different things. And if I had like a blank module, I could program it using as-built data to get it back to the factory settings and how it was originally programmed. But doing this isn't going to change any forescan stuff that we would have touched. Your OCR function is still going to be on in the instrument cluster. Your what else do we do? Your chimes are still going to stay the same. You can see right now it's programming, and you still have your coolant temperature over the gauge. We added that on. So yeah, definitely forescan stuff won't change. And forescan video going to be coming soon. It's been a very, very much asked question. Hey, PTT, can you show me how to do this? Or hey, I don't feel comfortable with adding the codes. Because sometimes people feel intimidated with where it says right, and I'm gonna change this in my truck, oh my gosh, and they'll be scared because they don't want to see the instrument cluster start wigging out like DS's is right now. So make sure to check that out, because you guys got to get forescan. I know I'm using a dealer level scan tool, but forescan for just making your truck more personal. Like a DS, he didn't want the chime to go on or the horn to honk if you have your truck started when you have your keys in your pocket and you shut the door. just personalize your Super Duty even more with ForceScan. I think it's awesome. You guys got to check it out. It's free. It's a month subscription, and you just got to buy the little dongle. But my dongle, they actually recognize this as a pass-through programming tool or device. So I didn't actually have to buy the dongle. I was able to just use what I currently use right now. So yeah, this unfortunately takes a few minutes. That's probably why it says we're at 3 of 10. Got a lot of vid blocks to program. I don't know exactly what they're changing, but obviously with this technical service bulletin coming out, the Ford team has seen, obviously on a national realm, that certain trucks with this particular problem and this DTC, they're finding that software reprogram or whatever they've done to tweak how shift solenoids are going to work or how the engine's going to work, they've made it better. So yeah, Mr. Sean.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen on Facebook, there was a guy, I posted the video, put it in a Facebook group, and there's a guy who comes on and says, like, yeah, my truck's doing the same thing. I'm going to go get the program tomorrow. He goes and gets his truck reprogrammed, and he's like, it's been driving so much better.
Oh, wow.
It's been shifting better. It just overall was a better situation. So hopefully,
that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Hopefully I'm going to be in the same boat. He said it was a relearning process. Took a couple days, and then it was just 100% better. So
that's what I don't want to be you guys to get scared of. If this gets done, you get your truck back from the dealer and you immediately go start to drive it. Is you may have some firmer than normal shifts going up and going down. That's going to be normal. It's going to take some time for the truck to learn again, because all the memory and everything, the keep alive memory, all the learned values from the previous file is all been erased and is going to restart all over. So it's going to be just like you got your truck from the lot, starting all over again. So don't be alarmed. It's going to take, like Sean said, a couple days for it to learn. It may take a couple 100 miles, but it'll get better for sure.
Now, what's really interesting is when I got the truck, obviously, first off, it's got to relearn and learn everything, whatever. But after it had enough time to learn everything and it was shifting hard, I just thought it was normal. I'm like, yeah, that's just 10 speed. And then I'll be plowing. I'm like, this truck just shifts hard, and to drive. I'm like, well, it must be normal for this truck. But maybe it's not normal to shift hard and to drive, and maybe this will correct the issue. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go ahead and keep this reprogram going. See you guys in the next scene. All right, guys, and just like that, we are done, all reprogrammed. Let's go ahead and shift real quick to see what it's doing. Reverse, drive. Seems fine, not shifting hard, but we've got to go through this reprogramming process, relearning process.
Get everything back up and learn to how DS drives. It's going to learn all the new shift points and all the shift strategies that it knew before we did the new software calibration. But make sure to check out the description. He's going to put all the info for the TSB that we did on his truck, so that if you are continuing to have an issue, you can bring your Super Duty to your local Ford store and ask them if they can possibly perform this TSB under your new vehicle limited warranty.
But anyway, we're going to go ahead and drive the truck for the first time. See you guys on the road. All right, guys, driving for the first time. The truck is doing a relearn, and it seems pretty normal. It's not really doing anything in particular. Yeah, there's a trans temp. Trucks. I'm very curious if this is gonna work. Hopefully it does. But yeah. Anyway. All right, guys, back home, and it's been about 1,000 miles since we've done the reprogram, relearn, whatever you want to call it. It's been about 1,000 miles since we have done that, and I am happy to report that PowerStroke Tech Talk has fixed the truck. He's corrected the problem with the help of Ford and their engineering and TSBs and technical services, whatever they're doing behind the scenes. Ford, PowerStroke Tech Talk, they've figured it out. They've done this relearn thing with this 10-speed. All the hard shifting is gone, and it's just performing phenomenal, flawlessly. No issues anymore. Thank you guys. Thank you, PowerStroke Tech Talk. If you want to see his perspective, check out his channel, PowerStroke Tech Talk with A-Rod. Type that into YouTube and he will pop up. But yeah, if you have a PowerStroke, you've probably already seen him anyway. But guys, I want to thank you for watching the video. This is DS Trucks. My name is Sean. See you in the next one. Over and out.